What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So I just got finished watching Teen Mom OG for the second time. I had to take my notes this time. I have to say, this episode I was interested. Not gonna lie. I've been watching these Teen Mom shows for like 10 years. And back in the day, I would watch an episode and I would see like the preview for the next episode and I'd be like, oh, I cannot wait till next week. That quit happening. It really lost my interest the last few, I guess like year or so. Teen Mom 2, I would miss episodes because I would forget because I just wasn't excited about it. It'd be like, it would show a preview for the next episode and it was like nothing interesting. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, kind of fell off a little bit, but I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to go ahead and watch Teen Mom OG. And this first episode of the new season was pretty interesting. I think as long as they keep this up, it may keep my interest, right? So Teen Mom OG season 9 episode 13, Don't Give Up on Me. Now I think it actually started off with Maci, but my notes start off with Cheyenne, so we're going to jump in with Cheyenne. Cheyenne, we found out at the end of last season that she's pregnant by Zach. This is her second child, but Zach's first child. Pregnant during COVID. The doctors all have different guidelines. So some doctors, when you come for your appointments, they may allow one person in the room with you. But her doctor seems to only allow her to come for the appointments. So Zach will bring her and then she'll FaceTime him if they're doing anything special, like an ultrasound. I know we've seen like last season when they found out she was pregnant, he took her and she FaceTimed him for the ultrasound, right? So this episode for her segment actually starts off where they're going to the doctor. They get into the vehicle, they're on their way, and her mom calls. And her mom's like, listen, if they do an ultrasound, FaceTime me. So Cheyenne tells her mom, yes, if they do an ultrasound, I'm going to FaceTime you in this group chat. That way you guys can see it. And I'm assuming Zach's in the group chat as well. When she actually got off the phone with her mom, Zach was like, hey, don't forget, if they do this ultrasound, make sure you FaceTime me because I really want to see the baby. And she's like, yeah, I think we should be doing an ultrasound this time because we didn't do it last time. So I think we'll do one. And he said, if you guys aren't going to do one, can you ask them to do one? And she was like, well, it doesn't work that way. And he said, well, I just have nothing to look forward to on like appointments where, you're not going to call me. Like if there's not an ultrasound, I just sit here. There's nothing really for me to be excited about. So if they do an ultrasound, make sure you call me. If they don't, ask. And if they won't, okay, but please don't forget to call me. She's like, okay. They pull up to the doctor's office. She gets out and she goes inside. He parks and then he gets out and he tells the producer, JC, he's like, hey, I got to use the bathroom. I'm going to run to the bathroom. JC tells him that he will watch the vehicle. While Zach is in the bathroom, JC hears over the microphone that Cheyenne is like, they're not doing an ultrasound, but they're listening to the baby's heartbeat. So JC can actually hear the heartbeat. And he says, oh my goodness, I hear the heartbeat. Zach's missing the heartbeat. He's in the bathroom. There's nothing I can do. He's missing the heartbeat. So when Zach comes walking out, JC is like, dude, we heard the heartbeat, but you missed it. Like I tried to get you, but you were in the bathroom. Zach actually thought he was like messing with him. He was like, what? He was like, no, you're lying because she didn't call me. And JC's like, dude, I'm serious. We heard the heartbeat. So Zach is a little frustrated. He gets in the vehicle. He's like, man, I told her to call me. Like, why didn't she call me? 20 minutes later, Cheyenne comes back. She gets in the car, acting like all is swell, like whatever. So Zach is like, what did we talk about before you got out? Like the ride there, what did we talk about? She's like, I don't know. He's like, the heartbeat, like the ultrasound. You didn't call me. And she's like, what are you talking about? He said, how did JC hear the baby's heartbeat, but I didn't? And she goes, I don't know. And Zach says, exactly. Like JC heard the heartbeat, but I didn't because you didn't call me. On the way, I specifically asked for you to call me, but you did not call me. And she gives Zach this like lame excuse. Oh, it was quick. We were talking and like she done it quick, 2 seconds, heard the baby's heartbeat, heard that the baby was fine, and that was it. It happened so quick, I didn't have time to call you. Now let me tell you, mother of 6 here. Yes, I talk about it a lot, mother of 6. that it's, you know, yes, it is different than an ultrasound, but when they're going to put, like, listen to the heartbeat, you have to unbutton your pants, pull them down a little bit. They put the jelly on you, and then they have the little thing, and they have to move it around. It takes time to find the heartbeat, and then they have to listen to the heartbeat for a few seconds. And those ultrasound techs are very, like, they will work with you. Like, if you say, oh, we're going to listen to heartbeat, can I call my husband really quick, or can I call my boyfriend really quick? They're like, oh, yeah, absolutely. I've never known of one of those to be like, no, sorry, we're in a hurry, you can't. If I feel like if Cheyenne, if it would have been important to her, she would have said, hey, I'm going to get my boyfriend on the phone really quick since we're listening to the heartbeat. And I feel like that ultrasound tech would have been like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. It's not a 2-second situation. Like, it does take a little time. You have to, you know, you're laying down. You have to unbutton your pants, pull them down a little bit. They have to put the gel on you. It's not a 20-minute thing either. But I feel like she could have called him. I feel like she was just throwing excuses out there. Oh, we were talking. It was quick. It was over in 2 seconds. Sorry. So Zach is like, it doesn't matter. Like, this was important to me. And then she says something to the effect of, well, I really feel supported right now. And Zach was like, you feel supported? Yeah, I really feel supported too. And she literally was like, you're not the pregnant one. I'm the pregnant one. I'm the one carrying the baby. And Zach is like, you always say that. Like, that's your excuse for everything. Anything happens, your excuse is that you're the one pregnant. He's like, I'm sorry. He says, I'm trying to be supportive. I come with you to everything. I've always supported you. And all I asked was that you call me. And JC hears the heartbeat and I don't. Zach, from my recollection, was not yelling. At one point, he was even kind of laughing about it. Cheyenne gets so mad, she starts yelling at him to shut up, and then she tells him something to the effect that he needs to just have respect. He needs to learn that after her appointments, he just needs to ask, how did the appointments go? That's it. Ask how the appointments go, and that's it. And shut your mouth, you know? And he's like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, if I asked you to call, you could have called. She gets so mad, she starts screaming, shut up, shut up, shut up. And he's like, all right, stop it. Like, I'm not doing this. Like, you're going to stop it. Stop it right now. End of discussion. So she tells Zach, pull over, pull this car over. So he pulls over. He gets out, she gets out, and she jumps in that car and she takes off and she leaves him on side of the street, you guys. She leaves Zach on side of the street. She takes her microphone off. She takes the cameras, like, turns the cameras off. But her microphone still works. It just isn't attached to her. So after she turns the cameras off, she calls her mom. And she goes from, like, just mad, not crying. Like, when she turned those cameras off, she wasn't crying. But when she gets her mom on the phone, she's, like, boo-hooing. And she tells her mom, she said that the whole way to the doctor's appointment, that Zach was pressuring her about how hard it is on him and how he needs support and she's not giving him support, and just yelling at her about the ultrasound, and that she finally yelled at him and that she's just over it. And her mom says something to the effect of, like, you got the weight of the world on your shoulders. And she's like, so much weight on my shoulders. And the mom's like, how far out are you? She's like, I'll be there in a few minutes. The mom's like, okay, come on, baby. And I'm like, girlfriend, what? Like, the story that you told your mom was a complete twist of facts. Not once did he press you about how hard things are for him. Like, you're the one that started that. About how, oh, you don't feel the support. And he's like, well, me neither. Hello, here to support you. All I asked was for a phone call. You couldn't do it. And then you flip the script on him because you're the pregnant one. Like, I get it. Hormones be crazy. I know. But I think Cheyenne, to me, I feel like I saw a side of Cheyenne that I kind of wondered if it was there. Like, she comes from money. She's the youngest. It seems like she gets babied a lot. So I've always kind of wondered, like, is she spoiled? Like, did they give her whatever she wants? And I feel like they do. There was something that Zach even said later on that kind of told the tale as well. So Zach gets put out. JC pulls up, picks Zach up. And JC's like, man, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean to cause any problems. Zach's like, no, it's not your fault, dude. And Zach told JC, he said, everyone, it just gives in to her. They never tell her when she's wrong. He's like, I'm not doing it. I'm going to call her out because she was wrong. He's like, I'm not going to be everybody else that just lets her get away with stuff like this. You know, so they get in JC's car, and JC asks Zach, like, what do you want to do? So Zach says, go to her mom's house. I need to get the key to the house so I can go home. So they pull up at the mom's house. Zach knocks on the door, and Dave, the stepdad, answers the door. So Zach asks Dave to come outside. He's like, look, let me talk to you for a little bit, Dave. So Dave comes outside, and Zach asks him, he says, do you know what happened? And Dave says, well, she's kind of telling us right now what happened. And Zach asked him, am I in the wrong? Like, am I crazy here? Am I in the wrong? Like, all I asked was for a phone call. Like, you know, for her to FaceTime me. And then she hears the baby's heartbeat and she don't even FaceTime me. Now, my thing is like he asked Dave if he was in the wrong, but we don't know what story Dave was getting. Because we know the story that Cheyenne gave the mom while on the phone on the way over there was completely exaggerated. Like that, so exaggerated. So the story that Dave may have gotten may have been exaggerated as well. So when he asked Dave, am I in the wrong? Dave may be like, yeah, you was, pressing this woman the whole way to the doctor's appointment about how hard it is on you. Yeah, you're wrong. So I was kind of curious, like, what does Dave know? The mama comes out, though, before Dave really has a chance to say too much. The mom comes out and is like, she's pregnant. Her hormones are crazy. And Zach says, like, I understand that. I get it. Like, that's fine. But this is all I asked for. And she's like yelling at me, telling me to shut up, mad because I asked her why she couldn't call me. So he's like, listen, he's like, I'm mad right now. So I just need the key to go to the house. I'm done. I'm leaving. Not done and leaving like that. He's like, I'm done with this conversation. I'm going home. So he gets the key and he like walks off. But apparently Cheyenne from inside the house, she sees that the cameras are out there. So she comes outside and she's like yelling at JC. She's like, stop filming this. Stop filming this. She's like, you guys are wrong for this. You know you're wrong for this. For what? Filming your real life? Like, it can't be all peaches and cream all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you signed up for it. All we ever see of Cheyenne really is like the good side. So here's the ugly side, Cheyenne. Like, you can't get mad that they're recording it. Of course they're going to record it. But she literally tells everybody. She tells JC, she's like, F you. She goes to this cameraman. She's like, F you. And then she goes to this cameraman and she's like, F you. And she turns around and she hightails her little spoiled butt right back into her house and slams the door. And I was like, yep, I feel like that's the real Cheyenne that we just saw. Not saying, I feel like everybody has their bad moments, but I feel like that was so disgusting, the way that she treated him and the way she flipped it on him. Like, I actually watched the episode at first on a YouTube channel, and someone in the comment section says, no wonder why Corey wouldn't stay with her. Like, no wonder why Corey would not be with her. Like, maybe he saw this side of her. And Zach even told Dave, he says, I've never seen this side of Cheyenne. I've never seen her act like this. So, I don't know, but I thought that it was not okay. It was not okay at all. Also, in the trailer, or the clip for next week's episode, for Cheyenne's segment, so apparently Corey is talking to her about being called back to go to the challenge. And that means he's going to miss Ryder's birthday. And she tells Corey, she's like, you are a piece of crap for missing Ryder's birthday. And then she goes, piece of crap. Well, the dude got to make money, right? Like, I get it. It's a birthday. It's going to suck. But when he comes home, he can have her a party. Like, what if he wins the $1 million? I'm sure you're going to be happy about it then, right? It's just the fact that he's going to miss the birthday. Like, I think if it was my baby daddy, I would be like, yeah, when you come home, do what you got to do. This is their livelihood. This is how Corey makes money. These TV shows. So if he misses the opportunity, he passes up a paycheck, right? So, I don't know. Cheyenne, pregnant, not nice, right? So next we have Maci. It is Easter time, so they've invited the Easter Bunny over to see the kids. It's a cute little scene. After that, Maci and one of her friends, they go out for lunch where they're talking about the reunion. And Maci just says, like, when they walked in, she could tell that Jen and Larry were already kind of, like, aggravated. She also says that she feels like Taylor did what any man would do. She's like, yeah, I think we all kind of got out of hand, but I feel like Taylor did what any man would do. Her friend asked her, like, does Bentley know about this? What's his reaction to it? And she says, we sat Bentley down. We talked to him about it a little bit. And he, I asked him, like, what's your feelings on it? And he basically said, like, he don't really have any. Like, it's just whatever to him. He really doesn't have much to say about it. So after that, they're having, like, a cookout at their house. And one of Taylor's friends comes over, and this guy's actually about to be a first-time dad. So they're talking about that. The guy's asking him for, like, tips, like, I'm about to be a dad. And Taylor just tells him, you got to roll with the punches, you know, make the best out of everything. And then they talk about the reunion. And Taylor says that his intention, you know, knowing that Ryan would not take the couch with them, that it would be Larry and Jen, he said his intention was to bring up a few things, you know, basically the way they kind of throw everything up on Bentley, the things that they've said about Maci, them going to the tabloids and how they've like exaggerated things. He said, I wanted to call those things out. I had some things I wanted to say. He said, but my goal was that I would do it in a way that it would not make Bentley's life hard, that it would not change things for Bentley. And he said, I felt like the way everything went down, it made things hard for Bentley because now we're fighting with them. That was aired on TV. It's going to make things hard for Bentley, and that's what I did not want to do. So I feel like I need to talk to Bentley, and I owe him an apology. And I thought that was super big of Taylor to, you know, to say that he feels like he owes Bentley an apology because he made a situation for Bentley more uncomfortable now. So later on, the next day, they're going to get the kids from school. Maci, she goes to get the two little ones, and then Taylor goes to get Bentley. He picks Bentley up, and on the way home, he's just telling Bentley, he's like, listen, you know about the reunion. You know what happened between us and your Mimi and Papa. There were some words there. Things got heated. And he's like, once again, my intention was not to do that. You know, I had some issues that I wanted to bring up, things that they said about your mom, things that they've said about you. But at the end of the day, I got out of hand, and things went the way I did not want them to do. And he told Bentley, he said, I never wanted to make things difficult for you or make things awkward for you or uncomfortable for you. And I feel like I've done that, so I apologize. I'm sorry for that. And Bentley accepted his apology. Bentley really didn't say too much. He just kind of sat there and he listened. But he told Bentley that at the end of the day, he has his issues, mainly with Ryan. But because he could never talk to Ryan, he wanted to sort some things out with Jen and Larry, but things just got out of hand, and he did not want that. He told Bentley, he said, at the end of the day, those are your grandparents, that's your dad. You know, it shouldn't change anything. Like, if you want to go see them, you let us know. You know, don't feel like you can't go see them because of our issues with them. And Bentley said, okay. And they, you know, shook hands, and he told Bentley he loved him and he had his back and that he always would. So the scene for next week's episode for them, McKenzie actually reaches out to Maci to try to work things out or whatever. And Maci gets the message, and she says that it was a very insincere message and that she's not going to respond to it. So there is that. Next we have McKenzie and Josh. So they are living in Florida due to McKenzie getting this job offer. It starts off with McKenzie calling her dad because he is still in Oklahoma. You know, they lost her mom the year before. Her dad has some health issues. He had a quadruple open heart surgery and that he's been recovering from. So she calls her dad to check in on him, and she tells him that she's going to be coming down there that weekend to visit him, and that it'll just be her, that the kids are going to stay behind with Josh. Now, really, she's going to surprise him. So that weekend, her and the kids and Josh, they all fly into Oklahoma, and they surprise her dad. He is very happy to see his grandkids, obviously, and his daughter. They sit there and they visit with the dad for a little bit. Now, later on in the episode, though, she meets up with her two or three sisters, and her brother, and they talk about how the dad's been doing. Health-wise, he's not been doing good. That he's, they said that he has, like, hidden food, that in his room he has like cans of Pringles and like junk food because he's not supposed to have it since his heart surgery, and that the girls try to keep him from eating junk food, but he hides it. So they're talking about that, and she's like, listen, one of the sisters is like, listen, it's out of control. He's constantly eating junk food. I find it in his bedroom, so we got to get a handle on this. He cannot be eating like this. It's not healthy. So they decide to have like an intervention with their dad. So they all meet up like later that day. They have their dad come over, and they sit him down and they talk to him. They're like, so how are you doing? And he's like, I think I'm doing all right. And then they bring up the junk food situation. They're like, you got food stored in your bedroom, you know, it's not good. And he tells them, he's like, look, I got to eat. I don't cook. Angie used to cook for me. She kept me eating healthy. And now that she's gone, like I just eat junk food, but I have to eat, you know. So they tell him basically like, you can't do that. We know that with mom gone, it's different, but we got to work something out because you have to eat better. And his son the son speaks up and says, listen, would it be better for you if Jordan, who I'm assuming is the son's wife, would make you meals? Like once a week, she will make you a week's worth of meals for you to eat healthy. And the dad accepted that. He's like, yes, absolutely. I would love that. They also talk about how the dad's doing like emotionally and mentally, and he tells them that he still cries multiple times a day, and that he's even had friends tell him that he needs to see somebody, that he needs to see like a counselor or a therapist. So they asked him, they're like, do you feel like you're depressed or anything? And he says, I don't know, I don't feel like it. You know, I cry multiple times a day, but I don't feel like I'm depressed. And McKenzie tells her dad, she's like, you're depressed, Dad. You need to see somebody. So that was the end of their episode. They're concerned with their dad. He's not eating healthy. He's in bad shape already. So the scene for next season, we see McKenzie sit her dad down and talk to him and just tell him, like, you got to do better. And then her husband, Josh, sits down with him as well and tells him, look, I'm here for you. I'll do anything in the world to help you. You got your family. We'll be here for you. So we're going to see them continue on in their journey of trying to be there for her dad, but still being, you know, states away, and them trying to get him to eat healthy. So next we have Amber, or shall we say Gary. So it starts off with them, Easter time as well. Gary and the kids and Christina, they are dyeing eggs. And then we flip over to Amber's house where she is getting a Easter basket together for James. The producer, whose name is Anne-Marie, I think, comes in, and she asks Amber what's the plans. So Amber tells her that normally she would like take the kids to see the Easter Bunny, that she did that for Leah for years. And she says with COVID, I'm not comfortable doing that. She said, I don't know if I'll get to see Leah. She tells the producer that she's been reaching out to Leah, that she's been reaching out to Gary and Christina, and nobody is responding to her. So she says, probably not going to get to see Leah for Easter. I'm going to keep trying. But definitely we'll get James for Easter, and they're going to go to her mom's house. While she's talking to the producer, her mom actually calls, and her mom says, I'm working on getting everything ready for Sunday. I have Easter eggs. I have, you know, baskets and everything. So I'm working on getting it all settled. And the mom asks, are you going to bring Leah? And she says, she tells the mom she hasn't heard from Leah. And then they talk about last season, that clip where Leah says something about Amber, yeah, she's my mom, but all she did was give birth to me. And Amber's mom says that she was really shocked to see that. She was like, I was really shocked to see Leah say that you only gave birth to her. And then Amber says, well, the reason Leah is saying that is because someone's in her ear telling her stuff like that. And that's Amber's story, and that she's sticking to it, that the reason Leah thinks the way that she thinks is because someone is telling her this. Later on in the episode, after Easter, Amber actually goes like to stay in like a hotel for like a little vacation. This is after Easter, and the producer is there with her, and the producer asks her, you know, like, what happened for Easter? And she says, well, she got James, she went to her mom's house, but she still could not get in touch with Leah. Now, right after Easter went down and she was not able to get Leah, she actually went live on IG, and that's where she made that like 45-minute stream where she said, Christina is a piece of crap, Christina is a homewrecker, Christina is a hoe. And that, you know, money was stolen from them and blah, 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 blah. She went on this rant about Christina. I actually have the video, I do believe. I'll link it up here if I do have it. Up here, up there, down there. You guys can check it out. But it was this IG live where she really went ham on Christina. Now, the producer is at the hotel with her, and she's like, I saw your IG live. Like, what was that about? And Amber basically just said, you know, I reach out to Gary and Christina. I reach out to Leah. Nobody's responding. I feel like if Gary and Christina would respond to me, then maybe Leah would. And the fact that they don't reach out to me, or the fact that they don't respond to me, that makes Leah feel like she shouldn't either. So, yep, I went live, and I just spoke the truth. That's what she says. She says, I went live. I did not leave it up. Like, once I got off the live, it was deleted. But I did that so my followers and my fans could hear the truth from me, because that is the truth. But, you know, I didn't leave it up. I let it be deleted, but I just felt like that needed to be put out there. Amber literally has no self-awareness that this is the problem, that this is one of the problems. Leah loves Christina, so when you do things like this is going to push your daughter further away. So the producer actually says, like, well, I want to help. Like, how can we help get, fix yours and Leah's relationship? And she basically just blames it on Christina and Gary. She's like, there's nothing we can do because they're over there like working against us. Now, over at Gary and Christina's house, Christina is coming home from school, and she sits down and she tells Gary, I've gotten like 60 messages. People telling me about your baby mama on an IG live where she said XYZ about me. And Christina's main gripe about it was, first off, it's not true. Those things are not true. I'm not those things. But Leah is going to hear about this. Like, if she hasn't already, she could go to school. One of her friends may know about it. It's going to be embarrassing for Leah. Like, it's aggravating to me. But she told Gary, she said, I'm not going to respond to it. But what about Leah? What if she hears about it? Then what? And Gary basically just said, this could be anybody. Like, it's not just you, Christina, but anybody that would be in your position. Amber has to be mad at someone, so she's not blaming herself. Like, she can't take the blame herself, so she's got to blame someone. So she's throwing the blame off on them. And he tells her, just try to ignore it. But basically Amber is shooting herself in the foot by doing these lives and by talking about them. So that's they just kind of blow it off. They're like, whatever it is, what it is. Hopefully Leah don't hear about it. She probably will. But they're just going to keep avoiding Amber, especially with her doing stuff like this. And I can't say I blame them. Now, at the hotel, when Amber's talking to her producer actually asked her, like, when's the last time you actually spoke to Leah? And she, like, gets her phone and she's going through the messages. And she's reading messages that she sent to Leah, but Leah hasn't responded to. She said it's been a long time. She reads the messages where it's like, I love you, Leah. I love you. I miss you. I love you, boo-boo. I love you. I miss you. Still love you. Still love you. ... So several messages that she has sent to Leah, but Leah does not respond to. And I think that speaks for itself. If you are messaging her own phone, if she wanted to respond, she would. There's an issue there, but I think maybe that's an issue that is within, like, for Leah, not with Gary and Christina. So the scenes for next week's episode, we see Gary say that he just wants to protect Leah, and then we see Amber say that she just wants her daughter back. So next we have Kate and Tyler. They are pregnant with their last baby, and this was announced at the reunion. She announces that they're pregnant. They have had a couple miscarriages before. Right before getting pregnant with this last one, they miscarried. So at the reunion, they announced that this is their last baby. So we start off where they're at the house. They're talking to their producer, and the producer's asking, like, if it's a boy, are you guys gonna try again? And they're like, nope. If it's a girl, that's what it is. If it's a boy, great. But we're not going to try again. This is the last one. It is what it is. So the producer asks, like, so when will you guys be able to find out? And Kate tells her that she's taking this at-home kit. They mail it to you. You take your blood. You send it off. And then they email you, like, 72 hours later. And that you can actually take this test at 8 weeks versus having to wait till you're, like, 17, 18, 19, 20 weeks. So they decide that Kate's going to do this blood test, and rather them emailing Kate or Tyler, they're going to allow the email to be sent to their producer, Kirthy. Kirthy is her name. So they tell Kirthy, they're like, can we send the email to you? And she's like, absolutely, send it to me. I'll get you guys like a gender reveal something, and we'll find out. So exciting. So that's what they do. A couple days later, Kate goes to the doctor. She gets an ultrasound. Everything looks fine. And she gets the at-home blood kit. So she goes home, she takes her blood, she uses the little kit, and she sends it off. A few days after that, Kirthy gets the email stating whether or not it's a boy or girl. So she gets them this like little popper thing. They're at the house. She sits it on their table, and Kate and Tyler, they sit there for a minute, kind of talking it over, like super excited, like, do we do it? Do we not do it? Finally, Kate pulls the string and nothing happens. It seems like it's a dud. And Tyler's like, of course we get a dud. We're not going to know what it is. Of course we got a dud. But after a minute, the thing just pops and it's pink confetti. So they realize that it is a girl. They're having a girl. While they're obviously like kind of bummed, a little let down, they're still happy. Like they're still smiling and they're still laughing about it. And they're like, well, it is what it is. We're just going to have a house full of girls. And then Tyler did say something about the fact, like, it's wild. We're never going to have a boy, right? And Kate says, yeah, never going to have a boy. What are we going to do in this house full of girls? And Tyler says, we're just going to raise them. We're just going to do, you know, what we would do even if it was a boy. So they're a little let down, but they're still happy. And we know now, I mean, they literally just had the baby, Raya Rose. She had the baby like last weekend. And they're happy. They actually talked about this recently after having the baby, that while they are done, they're not going to try for a boy, that one day they will have a grandson, and that will be fine with them. They're good with their girls, and they just hope one day that they could at least have a grandson. So that is this season. You got, not season, that is this episode, the first episode of the new season. Next episode, I really don't have anything written down for Kate and Tyler, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, I hear my kids buzz. You guys tell me what you guys thought about the first episode. Did it spark your interest? It did mine. I'm going to continue watching. I'm going to keep doing recaps. Leave me your thoughts about Cheyenne in the comment section below. Like, is this a whole new Cheyenne? Do you guys think that it's just our hormones? Let me know your thoughts. Leave them in the comment section below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.